The first blow, arrogance unleashed. The Dravari Empire believed itself untouchable. Their fleets stretched across spiral arms, their banners draped over conquered worlds. To them, humanity was a young race, brilliant, ambitious, but fragile, too civilized to resist, too measured to retaliate. Their strike was meant as a lesson. A human colony at Darren's Reach was annihilated in an instant, a bombardment so sudden that no distress signal escaped. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and the proud voices of 500,000 souls vanished into static. On the galactic networks, Dravari officials broadcast their reasoning with smug laughter. The Terrans must learn humility. Let their weakness be an example. They called it discipline. To us, it was murder. Mockery of the fallen. While Earth mourned in silence, the Dravari celebrated openly. They toasted the destruction of the fragile ape world, wagering on how quickly humans would beg for mercy. Alien diplomats sneered across council chambers. Humans are philosophers, not warriors. They build libraries, not legions. They will submit. The Empire's warlords joked about renaming Darren's Reach as Ashfield. Their fleets paraded past neutral systems, daring humanity to answer. The galaxy chuckled along, convinced that Earth's voice was too soft, too rational to carry through the storm. It was a dangerous illusion, one that would shatter forever. The silence before the storm. For weeks Earth said nothing, no threats, no declarations, just silence. To the arrogant, it seemed like surrender. But silence is not always weakness. Sometimes it is calculation. Sometimes it is restraint pressed against the teeth of fury. Behind the veil, humanity prepared. Entire defense networks shifted overnight. Shipyards across the belt roared to life, birthing dreadnoughts whose existence had been long denied. Old fleets, once mothballed, were stripped of dust and armed with weapons the galaxy had only whispered about. Signals vanished into encrypted dark. Then the silence broke. A single transmission, broadcast into every Dravari channel, shook the Empire. You began this war. We will finish the illusion. The awakening of Earth's wrath. The first wave did not announce itself with speeches. It arrived with shadows. Human fleets emerged from slipspace like thunderheads blotting out suns. Entire sectors awoke to find Terran dreadnoughts already in orbit, their hulls black as midnight, their weapons glowing like the hearts of dying stars. Dravari commanders scrambled, but comms filled with a single phrase, repeated in cold precision. Darren's Reach is avenged. Then the fire began. Plasma lances tore through battleships as if they were parchment. Kinetic rounds, the size of skyscrapers, struck stations and split them apart in silence before the sound arrived. Planetside garrisons, once secure in their arrogance, watched the sky ignite with human fury. The Empire's laughter curdled into screams. The breaking of empires. The Dravari had built their dominion on fear, but fear is fragile when tested. At Calor Prime, 30 of their warcruisers attempted to halt the Terran advance. They were erased in 14 minutes. At Valak, their planetary shields held for 3 hours before collapsing under a coordinated orbital strike, so precise it rewrote the crust into glass. For the first time in centuries, Dravari citizens witnessed retreat. Whole fleets scattered like startled prey. Their generals issued desperate commands drowned out by static and death. The illusion of supremacy, the Empire's most powerful weapon, was crumbling under the weight of human vengeance. The fall of illusions. The galaxy watched in awe. Species that once mocked humanity now sat in hushed silence, transfixed by the broadcasts they dared not interrupt. They saw Terran fleets spanning horizons. They saw soldiers descend onto fortress worlds like storms of iron and thunder, advancing with relentless precision. They saw Dravari leaders dragged from gilded palaces, forced to kneel before the burning remnants of their pride. The Empire had begun this war with confidence, believing humans would bow. Instead, they had awoken something ancient, something primal, a species forged on a death world, tempered by millennia of survival, patient until provoked, merciless once unleashed. VII, retribution without mercy. There were no negotiations, no peace talks. Humanity was not interested in compromise. This was not a war, it was a reckoning. Dravari worlds fell in silence one after another, each campaign shorter than the last. Orbital defenses cracked like glass. Starbases vanished under precision barrages. Their proudest admirals, once brimming with arrogance, surrendered trembling, knowing that refusal meant extinction. At the heart of their empire, the Terran Armada arrived. 300 dreadnoughts eclipsed the system's star. Civilian populations looked skyward and understood. The illusion of Dravari eternity had ended. VII, the last broadcast. The final message came not from Dravari leaders, but from their survivors. Across galactic channels, a trembling voice whispered, "Do not provoke Earth again." It was not defiance. It was not negotiation. It was a warning born of terror carved into memory. Humanity did not gloat. We did not celebrate. We simply withdrew, leaving behind silence and ashes, proof enough of what we could do. IX, the aftermath. A galaxy forever changed. When the smoke cleared, the galaxy trembled in a new order. The Dravari Empire was no more, its borders erased, its pride obliterated. And in every council chamber, every war room, every hushed conversation across the stars, one truth was whispered. Humanity did not start this war, but we ended something greater, the illusion that Earth was weak. The galaxy learned that patience should not be mistaken for cowardice, that silence should not be mistaken for surrender, that behind the philosopher's voice lies the clenched fist of vengeance. We ended the illusion with fire, and in its ashes a warning remained. Epilogue, infinite patience, infinite vengeance. Across the void, survivors tell the story in trembling tones. They say humanity is vast in patience, willing to absorb insult after insult in the hope of peace. But they also say humanity's vengeance is infinite, and once awakened, it does not stop until the lesson is written in blood and stone. Never provoke Earth again. That whisper carries farther than fleets, louder than weapons, heavier than war. It echoes across the stars as the greatest law the galaxy has ever known. Humanity didn't start the war. We ended the illusion.